Ladies and gentlemen, it's your Tani Satiza slash Masa Manier, Mr. C. And we are back with another jam-packed episode of the Bushi Podcast. But guys, we brought something more. We brought something new. We brought Lady in Red. But before we get there, as Dimpy so fondly states, kom ons weer voor ons eie deur. On the left of me,
It's your right seat.
Is that right?
hey, they watching from the left.
Oh.
Don't start me today.
Education, guys.
Yes.
Was it right? Okay.
Yebo. Yes, white guy on the right of me.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, ladies and gentlemen. It's your boy, your team for the one and only yellow bone and halal seated here on this seat. Today, welcome back to English. Welcome back to yet another Bushi Podcast. En op die show maak ons voor wat leeg is en ons krap. Daar waar het die juk nie. Follow me on all social media platforms. Dank je allemaal. Ik hoop ons het klanten vastgebreek.
Hello, hi, it's your girl Shauna May. As you know, you can follow me on Instagram. It's Deshauna Mayer, and then you can follow me on TikTok. It's Shauna May. Yes, guys, it's me. I'm back again.
Amen, guys.
Dus
So,
April runs at May.
April, yeah. You again with this flow joke, no?
Okay, sorry.
but yeah, anyhow, April, May, what was
Yeah, it's like if February didn't March, maybe April, May.
Okay, cool. I get the joke. Tempo.
In the house. I just want to say, guys, it's been a crazy few episodes, and I think at this stage we also tired of looking in each other's faces, so we had to go and get not just anyone. We went to go and get the person, the right person. Mrs. SA Runner-Up 2020. Miss Unseen 2021. The lovely, the beautiful, the amazing Candace Singh Engelbrecht. In the house.
Thank you. Woo, candy.
You say candy, right?
Amen.
Hey, you know, Candace. Sorry for jumping in. Your name comes from that uncle that used to steal children overseas. Then he brings the candy for you. When they come with the truck, the candy man. There's it. Candy man. Sorry, Candace.
Okay, back to business. Sorry.
We're not there now. So Candace is here because we decided that, before we tackle a topic as controversial as gravitatious. What are the Engels? Before we tackle a topic like GBV, we need to bring in someone that's actually an advocate for it, someone that actually has their own foundation. Could you tell us more about Be the Voice for GBV?
So, Be the Voice, firstly, thank you so much for having me.
It's a pleasure.
Thank you. So, my foundation actually started as a social media platform.
Okay.
I always had, and I think with most of us, growing up, we've witnessed abuse.
Correct.
We've seen it in our communities and in it. So, as I was growing up, I didn't want to grow up and see my children go through what I went through. So
Absolutely.
there was always this thing at the back of my mind to say, I need to break cycles.
I love that.
And so it started off as a social media platform. I started posting about it, talking about GBV. What is the difference? Because GBV has a lot of branches.
Okay, cool.
And then one day I just decided, you know what, I need to register as a foundation. I need to do more. I can't just do a social media platform. I need to do more. And that's where Be the Voice Foundation was born.
Okay.
And we registered. And now we focus a lot on education.
Okay.
We are going to do some initiatives at the schools, especially with bullying, because as you guys know, sometimes with teenagers specifically, there's a lot of suicide because of bullying. And we feel that we should start at the grassroots.
Okay.
A lot of our kids are going through what we went through.
Okay.
They're seeing it in their households.
Okay.
And it's all about breaking cycles.
Okay. I have a question. You said that you focus on you're starting with the school runs, right? It's a part of what you do.
Yes.
So bullying can be it comes in different ways, right? You get the physical bullying, and then you get like that way, the emotional, and then you get that way people bully you social, like on social media. So do you focus on all aspects of bullying? Yeah, it's cyber. It's cyber.
Cyberbullying.
Yeah.
Yes,
It is.
yes,
That's
yes.
the correct
smart,
term
ne?
for it. Really.
But it's so baie gebully dan as ek al jou bullies ek ken.
So does it entail all aspects of it, or
Yes,
Okay,
it entails
okay.
all aspects. Because as we know, most of our kids are on social media.
correct?
And they're looking at social media and they're comparing themselves
Correct.
to what's on social media. And we all know what's on social media is not real.
Correct. Yeah.
You know? And now there's a 13-year-old girl, she's looking at this beautiful Barbie doll,
Yeah,
but it's
yeah.
filters.
Yes, yeah.
You know? And then she wants to do things to be like that. And she doesn't realize it's just a filter.
Yeah.
You know, so we're covering everything when it comes to bullying.
Okay.
Okay, so almost I said Auntie Candace. Forgive me. Before we continue, Auntie Candace, let's find it.
She's not an auntie. She's
But
very
we are-
she's
I know,
young.
Over 40,
She
but
looks
I'm
fresh.
not.
Where I grew up, whoever's older than me, it's either uncle or auntie. Like
please
even
don't.
Ruben. Ruben is older than me.
don't.
Uncle Ruben. I don't
Please
say it in his
don't.
face.
No,
Okay,
please
sorry,
don't.
Candace. So before we continue, Candace, I know normally a lot of people would always ask this question at the end of some episode or something or podcast. I just want to find out for people that would like to know more about Candace and especially about the foundation via social media. Which platforms can we go to engage and educate ourselves more? Oh, my English.
I'm so
Hey, man, give me a chance, guys. Yeah, which platforms can we go to? Like,
So Be The Voice has its own platform. We are on Instagram, we're on Facebook, we're on LinkedIn. We have a website as well. You can go visit the website at bethevoicegbvfoundation.co.za. And then my platform is Candy Singh Engelbrecht on all platforms except Twitter. I don't get the Twitter thing.
Yeah, so
so
don't get the Twitter thing. You're not the only one. I don't have a Twitter
Twitter,
account.
right? But Twitter is a good platform. actually.
Twitter's a good
Candace,
platform.
Sorry, guys. I'm a social media influencer. I'm a social media sensation.
Okay, excuse.
So I use all
Oh,
of
no.
these kind of social medias. And
Please,
funny enough, there's a lot of people that I've heard is not on Twitter. Ne?
Yeah.
But Twitter is happening each and every day.
It depends on
That's
what the
one-
topic is.
It doesn't depend on Twitter. That's where, before it comes to Facebook, where you guys are on still.
I'm not on Facebook.
Before it comes,
Can I counter that? It's definitely Twitter is happening. It's
yeah,
like a lot of
before
things
you
that we
get
don't,
it
yeah.
anywhere else, it's on Twitter.
It's definitely a lot of things that we that we not privy to, or rather a storm can be happening here. But we so clued up in these existing channels that we used to,
Yeah.
like your Facebook, your TikTok,
Yeah,
your
yeah,
Instagram,
yeah.
Yeah,
blah, blah,
yeah.
blah. But now, like, I think one of the main things that is really, or one of the deterring factors for Twitter, aside from the fact that people can't really hack it, it's those that are on it. It's become like this almost a cesspool of negativity. It's become
Black
this.
Twitter.
Yeah.
Yes,
That's
yes,
Twitter.
yes,
That's
they call it
Twitter.
Black
That's
Twitter.
Black
I've heard
Twitter.
that's
So
right.
it's become almost this
Yes.
breeding ground for cyberbullying. So I can really I can understand why you wouldn't be there, but then at the same time, how many of the kids that you when you go to these schools are on those platforms
yes.
are being taught to almost have this passive aggressive approach to anything that's posted.
Yeah.
Like for instance, you can post your achievement and then like kijk, daar brag dimpie dimpopo alweer.
Yeah. Because people are looking at it from an eye of jealousy and
Correct.
not from
Correct.
let's celebrate you.
Yes.
Yes. That's a problem in our society. We don't want to celebrate the next person. We want to, look at her now.
Yeah.
You know, funny enough, like we are saying now, in terms of how people look at it or how people perceive it as, once you post something, I'm a witness for it.
Yeah.
Once you post something that you've achieved or you've accomplished, and so to say, ek sê dat aan 3 likes dat dan sê ek,
I don't know about you. I can't say that I can relate.
yeah.
People like me.
Yeah. Oh, people love me. They like you. They love me.
Okay.
They love me. Then sometimes it's like 3 likes or something. But once you post something that's you can harass maar die police in or just something negative
Yeah.
or bad
Yeah.
experience and goed soos that skyrocket.
I want to ask you a question, Candace. Have
Yes.
you experienced any
3
kind
likes. I've experienced 3 likes.
3 likes, yes, I
Have you-
have.
Yeah.
I have.
Have you experienced any type of bullying, whether it be
Oh, yes.
in
yes,
school, high
yes.
school,
So,
varsity?
no, while I was growing up. So, just a bit of background of me. I'm also what you call a little bit of a mixed masala.
I can see, I can tell. I'm not the only one.
We're getting biryani today.
What is
Today
that?
we're getting biryani today.
What is that word you used on one?
Khaledian.
Khaledian. Yes, I'm one of
Khaledian.
those. I'm
Okay.
one of those.
So
So,
you're
So you
colored
guys,
Indian.
you guys are from
Yes.
underground. Sorry, I don't know. I don't know.
we're the
You never told
special
me where you're
kind.
We are
oh,
very
We
you're
are the
special
special
kind.
Oh,
kind.
you're a special
Yes.
kind.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Because your surname is Engelbert.
I'm married.
Engelbrecht.
Yeah.
It's like an elbow.
Sorry,
Engel.
so
Brecht.
it's hard to. Oh, so okay. Because I was wondering, nah, man. Just don't make sure.
Yeah,
Just don't make sure.
Confusing the
Yeah.
enemy there.
Okay.
So I grew up in an Indian community,
Okay.
right? From the age of 2. I went to an Indian school. My third language was Hindu. Don't ask me to speak it now.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, I don't know.
Hindu.
And yeah, when I was 13, my mom remarried. She married a colored, and I moved to Yestris. So I grew up in an Indian community. I went to an Indian school. But then, I went to Indian school. My friends had straight hair. They
Okay.
could stand in the sun, and their hair would just flow. And I couldn't understand, why do I have curly hair?
Yeah.
You know? And that for me was like, why am I different?
Okay.
You know? And yes, I got bullying there as well, because I was the different one.
Okay.
You know, my hair would mince in rain.
Me too,
You know, and people would make, the children would make fun of
Yeah.
me. Right? Then I moved to a colored community, and yeah, I grew up in a colored community. But now I'm in a colored community. I go to a Model C school. And now the children are looking at me weird because, one, I don't speak Afrikaans.
Okay.
I understand
You
it.
understand? Okay, cool.
My parents speak Afrikaans.
Okay.
But now they're looking at me weird. They're like, oh, she goes to a Model C school. Who does she think she is? She thinks she's better than us because I speak English.
English. Okay.
So there was a bit of bullying there as well. So I was like, where do I fit in?
Yeah, I know that. It's
You
not,
know?
Yeah.
Do I fit in the Indians,
You
the
fit in the
colours?
colours, yeah.
Where do I fit in? So it kind of dampened my self-confidence,
cool.
At the same time, and it's something you touched on in one of your episodes, I had a problem with my skin.
Oh, so you watched
So-
that?
Yes. So I too experienced that. I had terrible skin when I was growing
Mm-hmm.
up. So that also, I was bullied for that because I was the ugly duckling.
Yeah. I can
You
relate.
know?
Yeah.
And yes, I definitely experienced bullying growing up. And then, of course, I grew up and I, started working. And then it's now the workplace as well.
Okay.
So you get your bullying in the workplace as well.
Okay.
You don't fight back, not even once.
She's a very classy woman.
And just like,
Classy
that's
women
all.
don't fight.
You don't fight.
We
Well,
don't fight.
They say the calm before the storm.
Yes.
Right?
Oh, so it's those people that when you make them angry, they don't get angry easily.
Yeah.
But as hulle kwaad raak,
I
I
thought
kinda
that
like-
phenomenon was only limited to short girls.
No,
I,
absolutely.
Yeah,
like
sure, they
the
take
little
long to get
chihuahuas.
angry. Short girls, it take long to get angry. And once they reach, sorry.
Like little chihuahuas.
As if you told.
I'm down to earth, guys. I'm down to
That
earth.
is sure. And you'll have short girls has short temper.
I'm not going to deny that fact.
Yeah, you'll switch very quickly, ne?
But back to business.
Coming to it. So you go to these schools. You start. You start on a basis that they can all understand. Bullying. It's something
Yes.
we've all experienced, whether it be on a high school level, whether it be on a varsity level, whether it be on.
I've never been to varsity, meneer C, so I can't say.
You've been to varsity college before, but so it's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
Was it someone there?
But whether you've experienced it on multiple levels, right? What I want to know is, where does the conversation of GBV now start?
Yeah.
Where do we give me the breakdown from step 1 to step 2?
Yeah. Look, when we're dealing with the youngsters, we have to be more like if we're dealing with primary school kids.
Okay.
We need to paint pictures because they want to see visuals. So luckily on my team I have a qualified teacher. So he brings the energy and he, and then when you get to high school, you also need to, bring that energy. But yes, it starts with bullying, but then you need to take the conversation to domestic violence, for
Okay.
example, right? You don't bully your friend because if you do that when you grow up, you're going to do that to your spouse
Okay.
or your girlfriend or your partner, as you would
Slippery,
call it.
slippery slope.
Yes, 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 yes. So yes, you start, and then you start with the social media, and something that they can relate to, and then you move on to what could happen when they grow up.
Okay.
Yes. So it's a long journey, so to speak. So it's a lot of planning and a lot of, how can I say, you need to we have to sit and plan out because you're different audience,
Okay, yes,
especially from the
yeah.
youngsters and varsity and stuff. And when it comes to varsity, now you've got your bullying because somebody is maybe best chosen to become gay. And now people are gay or lesbian,
Yeah, yeah.
and now they're being bullied for that.
Okay.
I have had cases where people have come forward to my foundation because that's also one of the things that we do is we assist individuals. And I
Like
say
with counseling or what? Or what?
no, so with counseling.
Okay.
So I say individuals because my foundation is not just limited to women.
Okay.
Because
Okay. Okay.
men go through it as well.
Okay.
Your
Sorry.
your gay community goes through it as well. So if they come to us and they need shelters or
Okay.
but my foundation at this point doesn't have the resources, so that
Okay.
I will then reach out to a bigger NGO that
Okay.
has the resources to
okay.
assist.
Okay.
So that's how we do it. But coming back to the varsity, we've had a varsity in Cape Town who approached us because they were having issues with inclusivity. You know, in terms of your gay community, and so we had to go there and speak to them about inclusivity and accepting one another.
Yeah.
It's not just about the color of your skin or what you wear or what car you drive, or because people, let's face it, people, you are judged by what you wear, you are judged by what you drive, you are
Yes.
judged by what school you go to, and that's also one of the things that builds up to bullying.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can I actually, pardon me segueing a bit, coming to the
Yes.
conversation of inclusivity, right? I was at this varsity, very liberal varsity, right? So there was this one semester where, in response to inclusivity, in response to discrimination against the LGBT community, I don't know if this was a response to that, they decided to make the bathrooms gender neutral. So my question is this: how far is, or how much is too much? Because it's one thing to accept a person for who they are.
Yes,
Definitely.
yes, yes,
It's
yes.
another thing to inconvenience to a point where now we're sitting with a situation where you feel so you feel so you feel this need to address discrimination happening in one community, but now you're creating another problem. Like, do you understand the possibilities that can happen in a situation like that? So I always look at it as that we have to toe this fine line between, appeasing. No, I don't want to say appeasing. We have to toe this fine line between making these groups feel more human, but at this, yes,
Inclusive, yeah.
including them
Inclusive, yeah.
in spaces, yes. But then at the same time, a radical change like that, how much power are we now giving to possible perpetrators? What can happen in a gender neutral bathroom? What happens when the cameras are off?
I actually wanna. There was actually. Sorry, before you answer
No,
that
please,
question,
yes.
there was. I think it was a story in America, or something like that. No, where they introduced this gender neutral bathrooms. No,
What about the
and then
bathroom?
there was this person. It was a man that was now pretending to be transgender, pretending to be a female, right? And then he would must now go into the female bathrooms, and then he would physically rape women. So I do understand that there is that concern, because how do we know that person is actually genuine? They're actually a transgender. Now you create an environment where they can go into bathrooms and they have access to women,
Easy
and then
access,
yes.
things like that happen. So yeah, I understand why you're asking that question, but you can go ahead and
So
answer it.
I'm with you on that one,
Yes.
exactly to your point, because how do we know is it genuinely somebody? Because there's weird things happening in this world. I mean, a couple of years ago, there was this man that went into I think it was a ladies' bathroom that raped a little child in Pretoria. I can't remember how old, but it was a primary school child. So to your point, yes, where do we draw the line? Yes, we need to include everybody, but where do we draw that line? That's yeah.
So that's really just one of those things that those fine lines.
Yes,
It's a
yeah,
very
it's
fine
a
line.
yes,
It's a very,
yes.
very fine
to be
line.
Yeah.
dealt with. But coming to the matter at hand, the core crux of this conversation, gender-based violence, right? I want to know from your side, in the cases that you've dealt
Yeah.
with, not just dealing with the existing essay stats.
Yes, 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 yes.
In the cases you've dealt with, what is the leading cause of man on female violence? We'll get to the other one now.
Okay.
The leading cause of that. And if you have dealt with any perpetrators, like if you have spoken to anyone that was not the victim but the perpetrator of physical violence or sexual abuse to a female, what was their core motivation?
So yes, sure. We have heard cases where I was like, sure, you know. So I was dealing with a case where the spouse, he was in jail many years ago for
Okay.
rape,
For?
for rape,
Okay.
and this lady then met him, in the jail or whatever, and he was freed after 10 years, and they lived together, and everything was fine, and then he started. When you say the perpetrator, they all have a common thing. They're
Okay.
all narcissists.
They're all
Let's call it what it
They are
is.
all narcissists.
Let's call it what it
Yes,
is.
yes.
They are narcissists. But some men just take it to the next level.
Yeah.
So, for example, in this case, yes, he was in jail for rape, so he's got that, right? And they were living together for a while, and then it started. The beating started. He would isolate her. You know, the normal abusive behavior, isolating her from family. She can't go anywhere. He would monitor her
flags.
everything.
Red flag.
He would literally phone her work like 5, 6 times a day. And if somebody, if the receptionist says, no, she's in a meeting or she's done, he's mad. Because why, when he phones, is she not
answering?
available?
Yeah.
That's now your typical narcissistic behavior. But it went then a step further. So I wouldn't say it's not normal, but that's what an abusive person does. But then it went to a step further. He would then do horrible sexual things to her that a spouse shouldn't be doing, And it got to that point where she literally ran away because it got so bad. So, in a case like that, there's something wrong. That's psycho, because no man should be doing that to his spouse. That is, you need to go and see a psychiatrist or go into a center or something because, I have also dealt with cases where women were emotionally abused.
Yes, yes.
Right? And again, you're narcissist. Typical isolation. Every day she comes home, he tells her, you're useless, you are this, you are that, and that takes a toll. If you're being told this over and over again, you as a
start to
woman,
believe
you
it.
start to
You start
believe
to
it.
believe it.
Your self-confidence, I mean, this woman, she was beautiful. But because of all this emotional abuse, she deteriorated.
Yes, 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 yes.
And that's so difficult because how do you go to a police station and say, I'm being abused, but
It's not physical.
it's not physical?
Yes.
Because where's the
Where's the
scars?
marks? Where's
Where's the
What form do I fill
Yes.
in?
Yeah, what form do I
Yes.
fill in? Yeah,
Yes.
what do I
Do I fill in the amount of insults he's lodged
Yeah.
at me?
Yes. And that's one of the difficult things. With that comes also financial abuse.
Correct.
That all comes because the man who's got business and is doing well and
Yeah,
everything,
now it's-
and so now it's a case of also isolation.
Yeah.
It all starts with isolation is your first red flag.
Yeah.
And financial. He doesn't want to give her money. He
doesn't-
doesn't want her to work, and so that she can be totally dependent on him. So there's gender-based violence has, like I said, different branches. So you've got your domestic violence, which is emotional, physical, financial,
Happens within
sexual.
within the household.
Yes. Under that as well, you've got your human trafficking, your sexual assaults, things like that. So gender-based violence is a broader aspect. Yeah.
So I want to ask a question. It's more of like what your opinion on this, right? What do you think is okay? Let's say for example you have a man that physically abuses his spouse, right? Where do you think that stems from? Do you think it is the way that he was brought up? Do you think it was abuse that he experienced in his childhood? Is it trauma? How is it that a man gets to a point where he literally lifts his hand for a person he claims to love? What do you think? Where does it start with a man like that? Does it start from childhood? What do you think your opinion is on that?
In most cases that I've dealt with is that it does stem, for most of the cases, it stems from his trauma.
Okay.
His trauma. It's that cycle.
Okay.
It's
That
that
he
cycle
didn't break.
That he didn't break.
Okay.
So he went through it when he was growing up, and he sees it. Maybe his dad did it, or his mom did it, and then that's way of life. I mean, you a little boy, you a little girl, you think this is the way of life. This is how a man should treat a woman, or this is how a woman should treat a man.
And it goes both ways.
And it goes both ways, yes. Some cases, it's where, like your military guys, your police guys, that also go through their own traumas, from seeing all these things that they see in their job, and they haven't dealt with their traumas of all of that. And to deal with that, I mean, I've watched a documentary the other day where it's a policeman that literally went to the wife and said, you need to make a decision. Is it me or your job? And he stood there and he literally shot his kids one by one just to prove a point to his wife. And he was a policeman, So majority of the time it comes from trauma that either a man or a woman haven't dealt with.
So this is reality, because normally these things you would only see
See
on
in
TV
movies,
or
yes.
something.
Or you know someone that's gone through it.
No, to be quite honest, at the moment, no.
You've
I've
never been exposed
trauma,
to that.
trauma. It's a norm. Trauma, it's a norm, and a lot of people would always say that trauma. It's stuff they've experienced, like you said now, that resulted in them being the people that they are, or the person that they are today. But all the other things of shooting the kids,
Yeah, that's just
What about
that's a different.
what about in the absence of pre-existing trauma? I don't want to say it's an isolated incident, because it's more common than you think. You'd find people that come out of
A proper home.
proper
Oh,
home.
yes.
Brought up properly.
Proper,
Where do you
yes.
get
a
this?
proper home.
Yeah.
So is this
Yes. Yeah.
is this could I make a case?
Boils
Could I,
down to influence, bro.
no,
Influence.
could I make the case and say?
Influence,
Could I make the
yes,
case and
yes.
say that it's really just improper maturing of the male mind.
Probably one of
So
yes,
where it's to a point where they grow up not understanding male female dynamics.
Yeah.
To a point where they find themselves at the helm of women. They find themselves at the helm of women. They find themselves. They find they're constantly being walked over, right? They constantly being emotionally abused. They constantly being manipulated. They constantly falling victim to to the exact same things we're talking about. And then they feel that it's reached a point where the only possible way of getting that power back
It's through physical.
is through
Yes.
physical
But yes.
physical domination.
Yeah. And you say that because, immediately what come to mind is you know, when little boys, and girls as well, but we'll get to girls now. So little boys, where their mums emotionally abuse them. So now they hate their mothers for
Now
that,
they-
and now they hate
okay.
women.
Oh,
Now they
women in
hate
you know?
general,
yeah.
Same with the girls as well. They see how the I know they call it daddy issues for the
Yeah.
girls, but you know the girls went through things with their fathers or whatever, and now they hate men. You know,
So they can't trust me.
or they can't trust men. Yes, so it comes to that. The other thing, while we're talking about it, is COVID, for example. A lot of men went through a depression because they couldn't provide for their families and they couldn't do that. So that also kind of contributes to that as well, to a certain degree.
So it's more so just a matter of, men go through a lot.
Yes,
agree.
most
Men do.
definitely.
Men
Men
do.
go through a lot. We
Yes.
just
We'll acknowledge.
Yeah.
We'll
Yes.
acknowledge
Yeah.
you guys
This
do
is the
go
first
through
time.
a lot.
This is the first time.
Hey, you guys,
Yeah.
we'll give credit where credit is
No,
due.
definitely,
Yeah.
definitely. Even like
Yes.
you know,
We
even
go
like
through a lot.
if you go to like the depression stats, suicide rates, it's
Yes.
dominated
men,
by
yes.
men.
Men, yeah.
But I'm not here to step on any kind of high horse. I think what needs to happen is it just needs to be firmly put out there that regardless of what you're going through, regardless of how this person is treating you, there's a fine line between resolution and plain out acts of violence.
yes, most definitely. Yeah.
I think this is just
Can you
personally
elaborate
what
on
I see.
it, baby? Can you elaborate? That thin line.
The thin line between resolution. No, it comes down to constructive ways or constructive resolutions need to be
Yes.
found. So that you never need to find yourself in a point where you need to or because let's get real, it's unjustified.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's
It is.
it's unjustified.
Yes.
But then at the same time we also need to start looking at the signs. We start looking at where do we catch this person before they
It escalates.
It escalates to that
Yes.
point.
Absolutely.
Sometimes, like I was
Absolutely.
saying earlier, sometimes ignoring the red flags and then it ends up being too late.
Yes, that's
Because then sometimes, for example, sorry, Candace, sometimes you end up sitting here and thinking or hearing a story or witnessing something and you tell yourself, but I never thought that this person can do something like
Yeah.
that. You understand?
Yes.
'Cause you
That,
yeah.
that time it's already too late.
Mm.
But then bear in mind you've been ignoring the red flags. And I think with gender-based violence or any kind of violence, as hulle hard gepraat, begin hard praat and all of those kind of things, those are the small signs.
It starts
And
there.
we're so
It
blinded,
starts-
especially with love, whether it's spouse,
Absolutely.
whether it's
Yes.
family, or
Yes.
soos hy dink dit, we're doing it out of love and goed soos hy.
Or,
En op 'n einde van
or
die dag,
kids staying for the sake of the kids.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's look. I was also exposed to that growing up, you know, and women sometimes stay for the wrong reasons because we stay for the
Absolutely.
wrong reasons.
Yes.
Because some of
Men
us-
also stay for the
no,
wrong
I'm
reasons.
I'm not taking away from men. I'm just
Yeah.
saying. I'm speaking from a woman's perspective and from what I've experienced
yeah.
in growing up. So we sometimes stay because there's kids involved. We stay because the dynamics is too large. You're always gonna weigh, what am I gonna lose? What am I gonna gain?
But don't you think, sorry, I'm even putting my hands up. Né? Don't you think we had this kind of conversation on another episode where we said it's a generational curse somehow?
is.
Thank
Because
you.
it started years
Yes.
back.
Yes.
We now
Yes.
thinking only, ja, laat ek loop en wat gaan ek verloor. But our parents at certain point used to also do these kind of things where they would be like, as ek gaan loop, wat gaan gebeur van my kinders? Dis
Exactly.
die enigste man wat geld in 'n huis inbring.
Exactly.
Dis the only guy to provide for what's going to happen with my kids if I go 1, 2, 3. So it's a generational curse that we've been having. And I think at this point, it's 2025 now, I think if we can come to conclusion and try to figure out, especially with gender-based violence, how to break that chain. And then I think it will be all right for us. Ons all right.
And it
boys.
starts with Candace, like
Yeah,
with her organization. It starts there. So she's
And
making
we
a
need
difference.
more shout out to the organization as well. Sorry for not mentioning it earlier. That's something brilliant you're actually doing, and it's something amazing. And keep doing what
We
you're
applaud
doing.
you for
yeah,
your
we.
Thank you
work.
so much.
What we want to know before we conclude this, what we want to know is how do we as Bushi come in?
Can we volunteer? in your organization, or
So
is it
we
just
can also be the voice.
Yes, so at the moment, what we're doing, we're raising funds because we want to do more schools. So we're raising funds. What we also do is we sell inspirational cups, coffee cups. So, there's an inspirational message on, and then we sell those cups to raise funds as well. Yes.
Can we link it in our description?
Please, yes, absolutely.
Yeah, and in the
Yes.
bios as well.
Yes,
Or
And
can be
with the
placed in the
cups,
description.
with the cups, man, I'm just so scared. I know it's a good thing. I'm just scared. We give them the cups today, tomorrow, and later then we million.
Aibo! No.
Hey, Valentine's Day copies. Two copies and a million blood from Valentine's Day.
No, I'll put the cup to
If it just
goodies.
makes you angry, someone only rice. two cups of rice in. But it's a good initiative, and like when you see saying, getting back to that, Bushi also as well. It's part of a platform that we actually would like to have such kind of conversations
Yeah,
on, and we
it's
actually
needed, yeah.
also, I don't know if these guys
Absolutely.
broken it down to you. We're also just trying to change the narrative and be a voice for people that especially face such kind of traumas, whether it's violence, etc. and stuff.
Because to your point, Impy, we should start.
You're the first person that says dumpy. Dumpy.
No, you see how red you turn.
No, and I
Come
got-
here.
I get that makeup on.
To your point, we should, as a society, and it's one of our values, is we should stop sweeping things under the rug.
Yes.
When we are sitting at a thing, at a gathering, and somebody is acting narcissistic or what, we should point it out and bring it to point. But now in our society, if we do that, we get
Je wordt niet gelijk.
Ja.
Of je
Ja,
moet
dank je.
We
But-
suffer from
Is
suffer
it-
from this that old adage of don't involve yourself in another
thank
person's
you.
Yeah.
business.
Thank you.
Yeah, because you know what they say there, you get involved in this, or you try to help, and then they get back together, then you look like the
Like the fool.
And
fool.
then no.
you
Worse,
need help.
That's
worse.
in the case of
Man's-
violence.
if man starts getting rough and tough with his girl, I stand up, I hit him with a paar poesklappen there, pardon my language, I hit him with a paar maiva klappen there, what. And then more, this bra goes in lays a case,
Against
right?
you.
And who's the witness?
The girlfriend.
The girlfriend.
But je lijkt me eens goed dan.
The girlfriend, because so I can definitely, I wouldn't advocate that we take it to that extreme. We obviously you need to respect yourself as an individual as well.
Yes.
But I can definitely get behind the activations, doing the education. I can get behind how do we use our platforms to not just educate but also to impact.
Yes.
And voice out to the voiceless.
Absolutely.
So Candace, I have a juicy question.
Ooh.
It's not on topic, right? So I just want to confirm. Are you married to a colored guy?
Yeah, so
Wait, my
I
question
am
is
not
my question is
married
not
to a
that-
white guy.
Okay. Are you married to a white guy?
No.
Oh, to a
I
colored
am
guy.
not married to a white guy.
Oh.
So my husband actually, he's also a mixed masala. He looks
Oh,
Indian, but
okay.
he's got the whole rainbow nation in his
Okay.
family. So that's where
It's
Engelbert from. But
African.
he actually looks Indian.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he
Okay,
looks
because that was going to
Indian.
be my next question.
Yeah. No, he looks Indian.
Oh, okay, because because we grew up
Yes,
mixed, right?
yes,
So I never
yeah.
kind of found myself attractive. I'm not attracted to Indian guys. I've never, and this is preference.
And it's,
nah?
this is your own opinion.
My
That's-
own
that's
opinion.
how
I have
we
never
think.
been attracted. I like my colored hair.
The opinions of Shana is not the opinions of the Bushi Podcast.
It's not disclosed with us, guys.
So now you're disowning me.
The thing is,
I said it's my preference.
okay, no problem. Cool.
But
sir.
anyway, the question was answered.
Okay, guys, before Meneer C close off, I'd like to say from the bottom of my heart and the Bushi team, thank you so much for all the love and support over the years, 9 years, not even
How many years?
2 years, 3 years.
Uh,
1 year.
Look
You know
Feels like
why I would get it confused, because the work that we've been putting in and the impact we've created and
Yes.
put into young people in our communities, because everywhere you go, we just hear Bushi Podcast, I watched the episode, I watched this, and that's what we'd like to hear, because we're changing the narrative.
We're changing lives.
So thank you so much, guys, for all of those love and support. Follow us on all social media platforms. It's TikTok, Bushi Podcast. On Instagram, it's official Bushi Podcast. And on Facebook, it's Bushi Podcast. And on WhatsApp, it's 08460. I don't know.
991.
I don't know that number, but thank you so much. We love and appreciate you guys.
Amen to that. I just want to say, from the Bushi Podcast side, Candace Singh Engelbrecht, thank you for coming in and unpacking something that is so deep rooted in our communities, something that is so controversial, something that we hardly know how to handle or that we hardly know how to address. And thank you for handling it with such sensitivity, with such objectivity,
Respect.
and with such respect. So all I want to say is, as the Bushi Podcast, we want to allow you to be the voice because we are not bougie. We are Bushi.